Do not, but I appreciate.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it, Amanda?
Is it the season? Is it
It
the
is.
magic of the season?
It is the
Here?
magic of the season. Also, we're both December babies. We're only a couple days apart.
Oh my gosh, Sagittarius season.
I know. I kind of forgot about that.
We bring the
Also,
joy.
the homie Aditya over at Apprite. He's the day
Oh,
after you.
really?
So
Aw.
yeah.
Isn't Dennis Ivy another SAG baby?
Good old Denis's birthday was a couple days ago.
Aw.
Yeah.
We still claim him as one of ours, though.
That's true.
He's an honorary
eh,
December baby.
Yeah, I was just texting him this morning to see if he was going to reinvent. He is not, but I wished him a happy birthday as well.
I wanted to go to reInvent. For some reason I thought we might go. We ended up not going either here.
There's too many. It's the end of the year too. It's time to sort of slow down and
Yeah, I was like, I'd probably be mad if I was there right now, having all the energy drained out of my life.
yeah, it's a
It's
lot.
an energetic conference.
It's a very big one. So it's December 1st, 3:00 p.m. on the East Coast. Both we're in the same time zone. That's rare for me that I get somebody in the same time zone. I'm Jason. This is the Tech Commute, and we finally got here, Amanda.
We did.
The homie, one of the first people I met. I was thinking about this before we started today. I was like, was it a Francesco space or the Hunt or something? It was Twitter Spaces.
Back in the heyday of our fun times on Twitter Spaces.
Back in the heyday,
Yeah.
the golden era of Spaces, if you will, is where we, I think, first met, and from there we became really good friends. We got to meet a couple times and hang out in person.
Yeah, we met at Render in person for the first time.
That's right, last year.
Not
I'm
last
on
year. It was like because I didn't go last year. It's been a couple of years now.
2024 was the first time I ever went, so it had to have been last year.
Couldn't it doesn't. Was it last year? It doesn't. I feel like I went 2 years ago and haven't been since, but maybe.
Well, so there's been two since we're talking, because this year's was a couple months
there was
ago,
one
so
this
that's
year.
why.
Yeah, that's why I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, confused as you are, I'm still honored to call you friend, which at this point I'm sometimes confused about. I love your sweater. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm Amanda. Some of you may or may not know me. I'm pretty online here as well. Maybe not as online as Jason. I don't know. But
Probably
yeah, I
not.
live here on the East Coast. I work as a developer advocate at Apollo. I've been working in tech for, I don't know, 10-ish years now in various parts of that. Was a massage therapist before that and some other things. Thank you. I love this sweater too. It's very cozy. I like this time of year. I like anything that feels like a blanket on my body.
That's fair.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I have a couple of dogs, and this time of year also don't do much of anything. I'm a pretty boring person. I'm a hermit until spring, but
That's as are most of us. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. Well, welcome finally to the Tech Commute.
no.
We also booked this a hell a long time ago. I
did.
realized, like, I scheduled out the entire year back over the summer, so this has been months waiting for this. It really has. But let's get into a little bit. I would love to know why the hell you decided to be a massage therapist.
Oh, okay. So
My
that
wife,
actually
who is also a massage therapist, so I'm
I
curious.
remember that your wife was
Yeah.
a massage therapist. I'm hoping I didn't get to meet her. She only came with you to like that conference, I
Yeah,
think, right? Yeah, I was hoping to get to meet her. Maybe another time if you can convince her to come back around us tech nerds
I'll
after
try.
that. I don't know.
I'll try.
But so I was I came from a family of people who did not go to college, who mostly didn't even graduate high school. So like it was one of those things where it's like I was supposed to find something to do with my hands, you know, like
Mm,
like
sure.
what, and so I was supposed to find something to do, like a trade school maybe, but really just go out there and do something. And so I did graduate high school, but I never thought about like college. And
Mm,
at the time I was doing a lot of theater work, and of course 17-year-old me is just like, I'm going to make it. And so I needed work that I could do to fund my existence that would work around my rehearsal schedule. So I was like, well, what can I do? And I kind of stumbled into the idea of massage. And
mm,
it was a short amount of school. When I went, it was like a trade school. So it was like a massage therapy school. You went for like 7 months and then took the test, got licensed,
hmm.
and then you could work, and you could make more money than I'd ever made in my life, of course, at that age,
Sure.
because it's a luxury service. And I would make like 50% commission. So I could work all my clients around this schedule. So, and I ended up really loving it. Like, it's such a beautiful profession. I don't know how your wife feels about it, but I really loved it. I still love it. I still tell people to get into it if they're interested in it.
Hmm.
But it allowed me a lot of flexibility to kind of explore things I was interested in because I never really knew what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
And then also be able to take care of myself financially and not be a burden on my family who was not able to help me in that way anyway.
Mm. Where did you grow up?
In Maryland, still,
So okay.
I'm a lifer, but in
That
the
hey,
county. And then
same here.
yeah, I moved to the city. I got out of that suburban area I was in and went down the road. Not as adventurous as I feel sometimes. That wasn't the most adventurous move in the world, but Baltimore City is it's a fun place. So I just kind of never left. And every time I've thought about leaving, it's like, I don't know. I like it here.
Interesting. No, I'm the same. I mean, I traveled a lot for work in my past lives, so I didn't
Yeah.
really ever need to. I didn't never needed to be in like a big city or anything like that. Like, seen
Yeah.
them. I'm good.
Good.
Um, what was the big like industry in your area? I've noticed in talking with people that sometimes growing up in the smaller areas, we tend to lean more toward like trade. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious, like in your area of Maryland, what was it?
Yeah. Well, if you got a job that was like not a blue collar job, you were going to work for the government.
Okay.
Might work for Social Security. If you're going to get closer to DC, you might work for like one of the federal government entities. So pretty much everybody, all the jobs around here were government jobs.
Yeah.
And then I grew up in a family of like people that did like odd jobs and or
Okay.
like contracting work and things like that. So
Hmm.
just kind of, you found work to do kind of people, and no work was too good for you or too bad for you to do. You just figured out how to make money and survive.
Yeah. How do you feel like that kind of shaped your trajectory? Like, how did that shape your view of work?
Yeah. I think, well,
You
there's
said
a,
nothing was off the table,
no,
by the way.
nothing is off the table. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to frame how I'm a rambler. So I try to like be a little thoughtful in these moments so people aren't
You're
like, what
good.
the hell is she talking about? Um, I think there's a like pros and cons to this. Like
Hmm.
in some ways it makes you a lot more scared of like that kind of like seeing people be unstable your entire life and having to, and not always knowing where all your money was coming from, not knowing
Mm,
like watching adults in my life work multiple jobs and still be stressed and struggling.
mm,
So you have a little bit of that fear of knowing what it's like, and being a little scared like I always have to have something to do. But that also means you don't have a lot of like expectations of feeling like you're owed any particular amount of money, any particular job, any particular title. Like if I lost my job today and couldn't get a job doing what I want to do, I would take a job to make money, even if I felt like it's like completely out of left field. Like maybe I would go back to bartending for a bit. Maybe I can't do massage anymore. I'm not licensed,
mm,
but like I wouldn't be like, oh, I can't take a service industry job or a job doing something else that maybe I have a skill in and that maybe somebody would let me do. Who knows?
hmm.
If I needed to make ends meet, I don't feel like anything's below me. So I do think that is a little different. And not
Mm,
that like, everybody would think that way if they didn't have that experience, but
yeah.
I think it's very clear to you that you do what you need to do and that you don't look down on work, on a type of work at all. Um,
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think there's a certain level of resourcefulness that
yeah,
comes
that's a
from
good word.
that. I very much feel the same. Like I've never, if I had to scrap, I would.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You always go for what you really want, and you're willing to put in that work. I watch people in my life from a young age do what they had to do to survive, but also still take the rest of the time that they had to work on something for themselves, something they really
Mm,
wanted, even if that journey was hard, even if it meant a few hours a night, you got to do whatever you got to do. So even like in my different changing careers parts of my life, like it never having to put in that extra work to go for what you want while still doing what you need to do to make things happen for you and your family and whatever that looks like.
yeah.
Yeah, you just do what you have to do, and you don't complain about what you should have, you know?
Sure. No, trust me. I totally understand that. Um, So you went through the certification, you went through the courses to become the LMT in your area. What was the first role like for you, and and then where did it sort of turn that maybe this wasn't what you wanted to be doing?
Yeah. So I worked at I was my very first job? I think it was a day spa.
Mm,
Yeah, I worked at a day spa, like a fancy day spa in the area. And I also didn't have clients at first because, you're bottom of the totem pole. So like you have to build up your book. So I also worked at a jewelry store during that time. I'm terrible at selling jewelry, by the way, because I'm like, this
I
is
would love
garbage. You
to see
shouldn't
you
pay
as
for
a
that.
salesperson, by the way,
When
like
you're 18
hardcore
and the
desk
thing
retail sales.
when you're 18 and the thing people tell you the most is thank you for your candor when you're selling jewelry, you're not a good salesperson. It means you're not selling the romance of the idea of this garbage that you're selling, um, which is all people
Awesome.
really want. They'd be
Yeah.
like, wow, you were really, but if you ask me if something's crap, I'm going to tell you. I'm not really good at being dishonest in that
Yeah.
way.
That's
But if
fair.
I really loved a piece, I could sell it to you. So I worked two jobs for a while. And then I started to build up clientele. I really, it's, that which wasn't too hard there. Like I got repeat business all the time. And I worked in massage for 13 years.
Oh wow.
So I was there for a long time.
Mhm. Did you happen
I
to, sorry to cut you off,
Oh
in
no,
that
please,
time, you're like, yeah, please, because I
please stop
ramble.
me.
um, did you notice any sort of um, issues with your body physically over that time? Because I mean, that's like either like the tendonitis or carpal tunnels,
Yeah.
similar things that we see with long term effects of like working in tech and sitting at your desk all
Yeah.
day. Did you notice any of that?
This shrimp position is worse for me than that was, first of
Yeah.
all.
Okay.
My
That's
little
fair.
desk
Yeah.
shrimp that I am. Um, you're really, I think you're a lot more conscious of your body and taking care of it when you depend
Mm,
on it.
yeah.
So I was also a baby. I was like, I graduated high school at 17. I was doing this
Okay.
by 18. So I was a
Oh wow.
baby. You could bounce me off the wall. Like I was
Sure.
up all night hanging out with friends, waking up, massaging people. Like I just didn't function.
Yeah.
Um, Thank you for being I guess honest is a good way, is
Yeah.
another good synonym for that. Like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're being really truthful here, and you're being
Yeah.
like straight, like you're being straight with me about this. You're not
Yeah.
bullshitting me.
Candor
Um,
is being candid. Candor's like what you
yeah,
do. Candid is the action. So that open
yeah,
honesty. Yeah.
yeah. That openness. I was trying to think other words. Yeah, you can't use
Yeah.
candid and candor when it's candor.
Right. That's what I'm saying. A person
Condor.
has candor. They speak candidly.
Yeah.
So
But anyway, yeah, so my body
yeah.
was
Sorry.
fine. I actually never disliked doing massage. I didn't leave massage because I stopped liking it.
Okay.
I left massage because over time I started to think about what the future could look like. And I thought about those problems. Like I looked at like maybe my grandmother and her like hands, and I'm like, that's just aging. Like I don't know how long I can do this, you
Mm,
know? There's also the thing when I did it, I had no health insurance, I had no
mm,
benefits. So I made good money, but that was it. I just made money.
sure.
And it's also a luxury service. So when the economy would dip, people would come to me less often or not at all.
Mm,
People don't get massages as part of their healthcare; they get it as a luxury,
yeah.
and it's so there was all these risky things that I was noticing, and I didn't know what to do about them, and I thought about going into business for myself. But again, I'm like a baby still. And I'm like, when I first started thinking about this, and I don't know anything about business. I don't know anybody that owns a business. I like doing massage, but I don't think I would like running a spa.
Mm.
Um, and
Yeah, there's a lot
so,
more to it
yeah.
than just like rubbing people and helping them.
Exactly. And I just, so it's like there was, so I didn't see another path that included massage, and I started to think outside of it, and I was like, well, what else can I do, and what's going to be like actually long term, because I, also growing up the way I did, I didn't want to have to struggle the way I had seen.
Mm.
And I was like, well, how can I set myself up to not have all this risk in my life? Now that I'm older, I know everything is risky, but like at the
Yeah.
time that felt super risky to consider, and not a
Yeah.
risk I wanted to go for.
No, for sure. We'll talk about your transition to tech here, but Seabass had a question,
Yeah.
which kind of relates, anyways. Is like, what do you see as far as like some of the skills or transferable skills from your former life as a massage therapist that you still use?
Oh gosh, so many. Well, and especially in like being a massage therapist, like you meet strangers that need to trust you immediately, because
Mm.
immediately they're going to get in one of the most vulnerable positions you can get in with a
Yeah.
stranger, which is completely naked in a room with just them. And that's like terrifying and weird.
Yeah.
Like, right, if you think about it too hard, it's really weird. And so one of the things you really learn is how to like kind of meet people where they're at and their level of comfort and what they're bringing to the conversation, because you have this goal to accomplish, which is to help them relax in that case. And so your people skills are really like what you learn there. You also learn a lot to kind of accept people wherever they are, and you learn a lot about what people are carrying, because I
Mm.
saw people be absolutely shitty to like our front desk people, but then like when I would be working on them, it's like you start to like hear about their stories, and like you start to realize that people are carrying a lot of things with them,
Mm.
and that people's behaviors and what they're carrying around with them isn't about you. So it also helps you with yourself. And so when you come into, maybe meetings with awful people now, or you see people having a bad day or something, like that, like you're able to understand all of these human things to be able to accomplish a goal with people as a group or individuals without you know, being confused about what's going on, or bringing your own stuff to that too. Cause you also have to keep your own shit very tight as a
Yeah.
massage therapist, because they're not there to feel your stress. So it doesn't
Mm.
matter. I had to leave everything at the door every day and show up as a healer, which is hard to do some days.
Sure.
So I think all of that translates to not only tech, but any industry where people are part of the equation, which is almost all
Yeah, I was gonna say
industry.
that's everything.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe, and from the tech side, from problem solving side, you also have this, like, you need to understand a lot about the body, a lot about science, a lot about how tissues work, about pain responses, soft tissue. So there's a lot of problem solving to it that of course isn't code, but you start to think in systems when you're thinking about
Mm.
the body, which does actually translate to how you can think about how things relate in tech. That's a
Sure.
little loose of a connection to make, but you do start to think in a problem solving way, even in something that maybe doesn't seem like it on the surface. Somebody comes in, they're like, my neck hurts, but I'm going to start asking questions to get to the bottom of it, because the neck problem is the result of some other
Yeah.
systemic issue or thing that they're doing. And the same can be said for a lot of problem solving professions.
Yeah, no, that I like that last point you made,
Yeah.
because I think that the problem solving, and again, that's not industry specific. It's not
Yeah.
something you only see as an LMT. It's not only something you see as a developer. Um, so let's talk about that kind of first time you decided to start to look into the tech industry as a
Mm.
potential opportunity for yourself. And I know we do have a specific time we have to end today because you have
Yeah.
a more important call than me.
I do know.
JK, JK, but I wanna be mindful of that.
Yeah.
So tell us about why tech, where this all came up.
Yeah, it's funny. It didn't even come. It I From massage, I actually evolved into healthcare first, because it was
Okay.
a natural progression. So
Yeah.
I did start going to college. I picked a community college at first because, again,
Yeah.
like I knew no one was going to help me pay for anything,
Hmm.
and I thought I would work in a hospital because that seems like a more stable career, but related to what I was doing. So I went and worked in a hospital for a few years as an occupational therapist, therapy assistant. Like I didn't
Okay.
go all the way with that, but like really good at it. Again, loved helping people, loved working with people, loved the problem solving aspect of it. hated the business of healthcare. So I only lasted a few years in that. And then I left one day by like sliding my key under the door of the rehab manager's locked office because I was the last person there. I signed out all my patients and literally never came back. It was really the
That's
exact
awesome.
way you should quit a job.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
you
mean,
guys, I'm not
yeah.
coming back. I got to a breaking point with healthcare
Sure.
very quickly. So then I went back to college and I was like, I have to find something to do. Healthcare wasn't for me. What am I going to do? And like the advisor, like when you come in, I already had a bunch of credits from doing this associate degree. Now I'm at Towson. I'm at like a university. And I was like, they were like, you have to pick a major. And I was like, why? And they're like, because you have a lot of credits. You need to pick a major. And I was like, fine. I don't know how it works. So I was like, I like to talk. I like to write. I picked communications.
Okay.
That's my first major.
That tracks.
I didn't last there long either because I go to my communications classes and I'm fine. They're easy. I'm fine. I'm good at writing and yapping.
Yeah.
But everybody I talked to in the classes, they weren't my people. And what I mean by that is I'm talking to people about what they want to do. Like, why are you even taking these classes? Like, what are you here for? They wanted to be like magazine editors and all kinds of like they and the things they talked about outside of school, like they weren't my people. They didn't care about anything I cared about. So I was like, I'm good at this, but I don't, if these are the people that are going to be my people long term, I feel like I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And the only place where I met people that semester that I was trying to figure shit out, where I was like, these are my people, was actually in a geography class. So it was like a map making class, or like one of these random electives. And I was like, that sounds neat. And I did that. But I met all these nerds and I was like, I love these people. Like the way that the things they thought about, and like geography was interesting. So then I said, I'm at a logical point in my life where I'm like, I'm trying to set myself up, right? And I'm like, what the hell does a person do with a geography degree? I like this class. Can I switch to this major? What do I do other than be really weird at party trivia? Like I could, but I found out that there was this like a side quest of a profession in geography called GIS, so Geographic Information Systems or Science, depending on who you talk to. And because I lived in the area I lived in where there's all government jobs, this was a pathway to a job in a major that started to meet people I liked. And I was like, okay. And I thought I could be good at it. So I focused on doing everything I needed to do to get set up to get a government job as a map maker. And like, so that's my first like tech job, was doing kind of a tech, it's a tech profession, but it's like you do some coding and things like that, but you're also more an end user of like a software basically, because you use this map making and analysis software. So that was like, I think I took like a web mapping class, like the kind of class where you write the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all in individual files and drag them into a folder. And then like that was my intro to coding at this point. Because I didn't know, like the only programmers I knew growing up were like people that seemed like geniuses to me. Like I thought being a developer was something you innately like had in you. And just like, it was only for people that like were like genius level smart and you couldn't actually learn how to do it. You had to start with some innate ability that I did not have, which is crazy because I was good at math and science like my whole life. I was like, somebody should have told me I could do this. But so I actually didn't end up making it into like tech as like we all kind of talk about it, like coding and developer advocacy and things I do now, until I was already working at a government agency job as a map maker. And I sat next to a dev team, and the dev team, I made friends with them. Like we all sat together. It was like we were like water engineering. So like water engineers, devs, and then like us, like the mapping people. And so we all were together. And like I just ended up making friends with the developers. And at some point they would give me little one-off tasks here and there if they needed a map on something. And at some point they needed a junior level person. And one of the guys came over and he was just like, I think you could do this. Would you want to? Like, they're going to look internally for this role first, and then they'll open it up. And I was like, sure. So that's how I got into tech. I didn't even like think about it. Somebody came to me and was just like, I think you could do this. Like, and I was like, sure. And I was like, I just tried it. And I never looked back.
Sure. The tagline is just say sure to your opportunities.
Yes to
just say
yes. Just say yes. That's my whole life, is just yes to opportunities, honestly.
Oh man. So why the change? Like, what about what you were doing in particular kind of led you to
from
deviate?
the maps?
Yeah, from the maps.
So it wasn't a big change at that point because it was a geospatial floor. So they needed somebody that understood geospatial data. I was doing a lot of geospatial database design at the point, which is just a relational database. It's nothing special. It's got coordinates in it. Like, and there's some certain things you have to think about when you're designing for spatial data. And honestly, I don't even know if those things are relevant anymore because it's been a long time for me.
Sure.
But so I was doing a lot of database design, made the same thing I was going to be doing over there. I was doing a lot of mapping, same thing I was going to be doing over there, but just in .NET applications, which was a black box to me at the time. That was primarily what they worked in, was C#.NET. I didn't understand what I was getting myself into at the time. It's actually probably better I didn't know, than I might have not said sure.
That's fair. That's fair.
But because they were just like, oh, you've got all this knowledge that we need. You'll be doing a lot of this, but you have to learn how to do it in code instead of the way you do it now, basically. So to me, it didn't actually feel like a huge leap until I was in it. And then I was like, oh, I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, I can imagine that was maybe a little overwhelming.
Holy crap, it was terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine. Before I ask you my next question, Shane, you dodged a fucking bullet here, buddy. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, it is definitely Elf. It is not The Office. Don't even come at me with that. Good Lord. That's pretty funny though. I do appreciate it. So I mean, what a trajectory. Like, if you were to reflect on that, like, time in your life, would you have thought that that's where you would be?
No, I had no idea. But that's kind of the way my life has been. Some people have this like idea of what their life's supposed to be. Like, I want to do XYZ thing. I want to get married at this age. I want to have this amount of children and whatever. And I never had any of that. And I think just because of the way I was raised, which is a little different, I didn't have any of those pressures, which is a good and a bad thing in a lot of ways. But because I had none of that, I had no preconceived notion of what was possible for my life. All I knew is that I didn't want to struggle. I saw what my family and the people that I knew growing up went through. And that was literally my only driving force, is figure out how to not have to do that. And like, ideally do something that makes you happy, or at least something you can enjoy and not be miserable about it. So
that's always a good start.
Yeah. So I think it was easy for me to say yes to trying things because I didn't know any better. I didn't have any fear. I didn't have any preconceived notion of what I was supposed to do, or even of like what was possible for me. I just didn't know. So I just said yes to everything.
How do people lean into that?
How do they lean into that?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have that apprehension, that fear.
Yeah.
How do people maybe lean into that a little bit and get through that barrier?
Well, I'd say it depends on where you are in life, right? Like when and what risk is for you. So like now I say yes to a lot of things still, but I also am aware of like what would be risky. Like right now in my life, could I completely pivot and change careers if I wanted to? Sure, but the risk is a lot higher. I own a home now. I didn't own a home back then. I have animals that need to be fed that depend on me. I have my husband and all of that. So it's like I would take risks now. I think the risks that you're willing to take and the yeses you're willing to say, you should anchor them in reality, but know what's real and what's actually just your fear of failing, because fear of failing shouldn't get in the way. Real fear, like, oh, if I don't make money, I can't put food on my table. That's a real fear. But if I think I'll fail is not a real fear. Like, it's not a real fear to say no. That's not a reason to say no to something.
Yeah, that's well said, kind of. You stumbled there for a second, but you got it out. I love it.
I got there.
You got there. We made it. Okay, so that role at the map place was your first. Did you take on a title of developer at that point when you took that role?
My first role there was like, I think it was like geospatial analyst or something, and then I was it was some kind of developer. I think they called me a software developer, which is insane.
Okay. Look at you.
I think that's what the titles were so strange. It was like a government contractor, so the titles were very strange to me.
Yeah.
Looking now, knowing what I know, and I'm like, think I made software. Maybe I made software. But like, yeah, so I think they called me software developer, just across the board, nothing else.
That's pretty cool.
But
Nothing wrong
yeah.
with that. So where did that go then? Like let's talk about that next jump.
Yeah.
Obviously, this one, the shore, the shore got you into this role,
Yeah.
and again, also like looking internally, looking at opportunities that are
Mhm.
like right in front of you, and talking to people, like
Yeah.
networking,
Mhm.
having that rapport with your coworkers, and so
Yeah.
on and so forth. We're very integral to all of that. So where was the
Mhm.
next step then?
Yeah. Another thing to say about that too, like the two other things that really helped me early on, and I again, and I don't know how relevant it is. I know the world's changing all the freaking time, but like
Yeah.
looking at what my area had to offer first. So the your local area, we had government jobs. I knew that like that was the most likely place for me to get a job was somewhere in the government. Not true right now. Government's a little questionable right now
Yeah.
because of all the layoffs and whatnot. But at the time, that was if I was going to get a job that was well paying and stable, I needed to find something in the government, and it was local. The other reason that this worked out really well for me, as much as we all hate it right now, is I worked in person 5 days a week for the first 4 years of my like technical career. So I and all the people I worked with did too. So I was able to talk to these developers every single day and talk to these water engineers every single day. And I got to just know them, and we would go out to lunch and I would learn from them. And if they had a one off task that was low risk, they would hand it to me. So a lot of those opportunities did come from looking locally and then taking an in person job.
Mm.
Not that there were as many remote jobs because government isn't usually remote, but
Yeah.
that really helped. I don't know if anything would have gone as quickly for me if I hadn't have been with these people every single day. Um, but from there, so I worked in that role as a software developer, non-specific software developer,
Yeah.
for 4 years.
Okay.
I negotiated hybrid. So this is another thing. If you do find yourself in an in-person job, if you do a good job, eventually someone will probably let you work from home. It was a 90-minute round trip commute for me.
Oof.
Yeah, and that's if the traffic was good. So because it
Yeah.
was closer to DC, because in my market, being closer to DC also got you better money, so you were willing to
Mm.
drive.
Yeah.
Um, so I negotiated hybrid so I could work from home in Baltimore sometimes, and eventually I just still got so tired of the drive. I just wanted to be closer to home. And also it was government contracting, so we lost a big contract.
Mm.
And the way government contracting works is you hire when you have a lot of contracts, you fire when you don't, because that's just the way it is. You have to remain billable to a
Sure.
contract, or there's no, or you're just burning through company money
Yeah.
and they don't like that. So I knew we lost some big contracts. I knew that there was a lot of pressure on my boss to essentially decide who you can fire if we don't win a contract, because that's just how it works. And she did the best she could to protect us. She was really good at it. But at the end of the day, if she couldn't get us work, then she would have had
Yeah.
to let go. So I was like, let me self-select out of here and see if I can find something close to home. So I found a small shop in Baltimore that was like they did like financial publishing work. So it was a bunch of different websites with like each one had like a financial guru selling their thing, like whether it's like an options trader or a stock something. It's all stock market stuff. It was very like I was making the internet I didn't like at that point. Like I was doing a lot of
Oh yeah.
advertising, a lot of trying to get you to give me your email.
That sounds terrible.
It was terrible. It was good and like I liked the people I worked with a lot, but if
Yeah.
the business wasn't like I wasn't doing any good in the world, that's for
Sure.
sure.
Do you feel like that at this point too is still a priority for what you're doing as far as work?
For doing good in the world.
Yeah.
I want to work with people that care. I want to
Mm.
work ideally also for companies that care, but I'm also not under any kind of illusion that um, large companies are all doing good in the world. I think some of them are doing better than others. I think there's some that like you have to decide what your limits are for things. But
Yeah.
I think where I work right now, I'd say is a really good place that tries to do right by not only its people but by the world that we're in. And it's but it's it's challenging.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
also not a person that turns down work, as we've talked about earlier. I'm going to survive. So
Sure. Yeah.
it is ideal to work for people that you can believe in, though, I think.
Yeah, the survival instinct is sometimes a delicate balance when you have other factors like, ethics and morals and
Yeah.
stuff like
I
that.
think we'd all like to feel like we're making our world better.
Mm,
So
yeah. No,
I hope,
that's
at least I think. I don't know. Maybe I guess I shouldn't speak for the entire chat here, but I feel like most people want to feel like they're having a positive impact in some way.
I agree with that. I think that you can confidently say that. What would you say as far as and this can go back to even from your massage therapy days, like reflecting on what's up, Izzy, team Amanda.
Izzy, oh, I'll see Izzy tomorrow.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here, hold on, let me drop. Where is it? That, right?
That's
People
our
can
Luma calendar. Yeah, we have an
yeah.
in-person event tomorrow in New York City if you're nearby.
That's
Oh,
awesome. And then also if you don't
yeah,
already
come.
hang out with Amanda on Twitter,
Yeah,
go over
come.
there. What would you say is the thing you're most proud of in your career? And again, this can go back to massage therapy even just like what was that one moment for you that you'll always sort of value?
You know, it's funny. It's not, it's something that I wouldn't say I really use at all, but it's something I almost gave up on because I didn't really need it anymore and I actually finished it is when I actually got my master's degree.
Mm,
I got a job before I finished my master's degree. So I kind of like, and I was doing my research. For my degree, you had to do research and then defend it in front of like a thing. And I was doing this. My advisor was, we did this research on oddly where using like geospatial data and neural networks to figure
mm,
out where the most likely, very oddly, this is pre-COVID, which is interesting to me, where the next likely outbreak of something that we don't have here is. And I chose measles based on all the available data I could get. I
hmm
could only get free data, which certain data like that is only at like the state level, which isn't granular enough to
Sure.
really analyze. But so that was my research, and it took a really long time to work on
Hmm.
it. And at some point, I kind of fell off doing it for a while. I think this is when I broke my pelvis. So like I just had a lot going on,
Yeah.
and I had a job. So I was like, oh, why do I? And but I eventually went back, and I was just like, I need to actually do this. And it would have been easier to walk away. I was already making money. I already had a job. I wasn't going to like lose my job because I didn't
Hmm.
finish this degree. There was no reason to do it really, other than just for the sake of finishing it. And I went back and I finished my research, and it was really hard. I hate statistics. I do. Ugh, that's like the worst math. It was not fun. And like, I finally got through it and I defended it. And it was the most terrifying thing I've ever did was present and defend that research and have to explain all that math and the choices that I made, especially after walking away from the research for a while.
Mm,
And then I sat in this hallway all by myself at night because like the school, like it's late, there's no classes. It's just these three
yeah.
people deciding my fate in a room. And then they came out and they told me that they were like giving me my degree. And I was like, oh my God. So I'd say it was like one of the hardest things I ever made myself do was go back and actually finish what I started with that.
Wow.
And
What?
I'm still really proud of it.
Yeah. I mean, I would be. What was that accomplishment filling for you internally? Like, why do it at all?
I think I think sometimes it's hard. It's hard to get yourself to do the hard thing, right? I think
Mm,
humans want like we don't want to do hard things. There has to be some kind of a reward. And I wanted to know that I was capable of getting myself to do the hard thing. And even if the reward was really at like I said, I had the job already. It wasn't like
yeah.
I would get anything in particular. I had done all the classes. I already had the knowledge I needed. There wasn't anything to gain externally from this. It was all internal. And so doing the hard thing and doing that for myself, I know I can do it. So now it's like when I'm ever presented with anything that feels hard, like that's the hardest thing I've ever forced myself to go back and do.
Wow.
And so yeah, there's no reward to it other than lots of student loan bills, but I already had the
Yeah.
no,
What a deal.
I already paid for it. Like the bills are already there. But no, it's just like I accomplished something that like I got to a point where I didn't really want to do. There wasn't an immediate benefit. I could have walked away and never gone back to it. I could have lied about it. Like it didn't
Mm,
even matter. Like nobody would have known. Like I finished
yeah.
all the coursework. I just didn't finish defending the research.
Mm,
And it's I think you have to remind yourself sometimes that like you can do hard things and like it's worth it even when there's no immediate benefit that's like tangible. Like the feeling of being able to get yourself to do that will carry you and will inspire you in the future.
mm. I love that. I wonder too, just sort of reflecting on like, you had mentioned that I guess essentially then for your family, you were the first person to go through all of that. So do you
Yeah.
think that even that, just looking at like that upbringing, that accomplishing that was sort of breaking
Yeah.
the 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 thing, the pattern?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely another part of it too. Like they're like that how you're raised isn't a life sentence for you. It
Mm,
just because that wasn't the path anybody took that came before me that I knew didn't mean that my path was chosen for me. So and that proved it. Like I didn't quit. I
yeah.
didn't walk away. So
That's awesome. I love that. I have one last question, and then you need to
yeah.
get out of here.
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure you know what it is.
Oh, I don't. I should
What
know
does
though.
success look like to Amanda?
Ooh. Um being being true to myself every day, getting up and making the choices that are allow me to trust in myself. Like so if I say I'm going to do something, like I'm definitely going to book a podcast with Jason. And following through. Like I think
Yeah.
just doing that again and again. Success is doing the things every single day that allow you to trust yourself so that when you're presented with those opportunities, whether it's risk or fear of failure or anything like that, you trust in yourself so much that you know you're going to get through it and it's a success no matter what happens.
Bam! What a way to end. That was
What?
great. You said that one like so succinctly too. That was a great soundbite. Nailed it. Mic drop. All right. Well, thank you for coming to hang out with us finally.
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah, we'll do another one at some point. Maybe we should
Definitely.
just do like next year. We'll just do like a coffee chat stream where we just like hang out and we can bring a guest
People
in
come and
every now.
go. They come in and
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and just hang out. Just talk about life and
Jason's
tech and
24-hour live stream pop
God
in.
no.
Live life.
Hell no. Yeah, let
It'd
me
be terrible.
know. Oh, when's Marino gonna do another one of his like 5 o'clock in the morning spaces?
Marina likes him early.
Yeah, what's that all about? Well, hopefully we catch Marino, and hopefully we catch you again on another stream.
Yeah.
This was wonderful.
Yeah, this was great.
You're also in our Discord, so if anybody wants to connect with
Yes.
you, they can connect with you in the Torque Discord. You
Yeah.
also know where to find me. Everybody, I am there as well. Shout out to AppRite and Dress Code. That's my plugs for the day, and that's it. I hope you have a good meeting after this.
Thanks. One more.
There you go. And then you're done. All right.
And then
Just
I'm done.
December starting off with a bang, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. And thank you again, Amanda, for hanging out with us today. And we're out. Remember, it is nice to be important, but it is more important to be nice. We'll see you guys next week.